Welcome to the shadowy world of luxury and danger. Today, we take you behind the fortified walls and hidden doors of the most infamous drug lords.
It's the most unbelievable place you can imagine. You're 768 feet below the surface.
From secret tunnels and luxurious compounds to island fortresses, these homes are more than just residences. They're the centers of power and control.
He would kill individuals that had, lost loads to set an example for others to do a better job.
Stay with us as we reveal the chilling and fascinating secrets of these hidden worlds and how everything is not how it seems from the outside. Griselda Blanco, the Black Widow's Miami mansion. Griselda Blanco, also known as the Black Widow or La Madrina, was one of the most notorious and feared figures in the drug world. The only man I was ever afraid of was a woman named Griselda Blanco, Pablo Escobar famously said about the only drug queenpin to break into the top 10 drug lord earners.
Pablo Escobar, wasn't for Griselda Blanco, there would be no Pablo Escobar.
Her influence and ruthlessness earned her a prominent place in the history of the Medellin cartel, making her a key player in the cocaine trade between Colombia and the United States during the 1970s and 1980s. Blanco's life was marked by extreme violence, extravagant wealth, and a relentless pursuit of power. Her Miami mansion was a testament to her lavish lifestyle and immense wealth. Keep in mind, this is only one amongst the many luxurious real estate properties she owns, a lot of which are still trying to be found. At one point, Griselda had a net worth of around £25 million. So, it's not surprising she had multiple properties to enjoy and use in her drug operation in Miami and the surrounding areas. It is reported that at least 20 other properties owned by Griselda have been found in registry office documents in Bogota and Cartagena. However, authorities estimate she could have as many as 200 houses in Colombia, including farms in Uraba, estates in Medellin, Bello, Envigado, and San Cristobal. But Blanco's Miami mansion was located in the upscale neighborhood of Coconut Grove, Miami. Coconut Grove is known for its lush tropical foliage, winding streets, and proximity to the sparkling waters of Biscayne Bay. The area has always been a favored spot for the wealthy and influential, providing both luxury and privacy. Imagine entering a sprawling estate surrounded by high walls and an imposing gate. Security was paramount, with armed guards patrolling the property and surveillance cameras strategically placed to monitor every corner. The exterior of the mansion was designed in a Mediterranean style, with stucco walls, red-tiled roofs, and large arched windows that gave it an air of timeless elegance. Upon entering the mansion, visitors would find themselves in a grand foyer adorned with marble floors, a sweeping staircase, and an impressive chandelier. The opulence of the entrance set the tone for the rest of the house. The living room was expansive, featuring high ceilings, plush furniture, and ornate decorations. Persian rugs covered the floors and expensive artwork adorned the walls. Blanco had a particular fondness for gold, and many of the fixtures and decorations had gold accents. There was a grand piano in one corner, though it was rarely used for its intended purpose. The dining room, of course, was designed to host large gatherings. A long mahogany table, chairs covered in rich fabrics, and the table was often set with fine china and crystal glassware. A large chandelier hung over the table, casting a warm glow over the room during evening dinners. The outdoor area of the mansion was as luxurious as the interior. The backyard featured a large swimming pool with a cascading waterfall and a hot tub. Surrounding the pool were lounge chairs and shaded cabanas, perfect for relaxing in the Miami sun. Blanco had a love for exotic animals, and it was not uncommon to see peacocks and other exotic birds roaming the grounds. There was also a tennis court and a beautifully manicured garden with tropical plants and flowers. Given her notorious reputation and numerous enemies, Blanco's mansion was designed with security in mind. The high walls and guarded gate were just the beginning. Inside, there were several hidden rooms and secret passageways providing escape routes in case of an emergency. Panic rooms equipped with supplies and communication devices were strategically placed throughout the mansion. Blanco's paranoia extended to her personal interactions as well. She was known to use multiple aliases and frequently changed her phone numbers and addresses to avoid detection by law enforcement and rival gangs. The mansion itself was registered under various names and shell companies to obscure ownership. Griselda Blanco's reign as the Black Widow eventually came to an end. In 1985, she was arrested by DEA agents and subsequently sentenced to prison. Her Miami mansion, once a symbol of her power and wealth, was left abandoned. Over the years, it changed hands several times, with new owners attempting to erase the dark history associated with it. When Griselda was arrested, law enforcement in Miami seized her properties in the US. And when she died, the same thing happened in Colombia, with assets worth over £100 million. However, it's thought some of Griselda's assets, including property, still remain uncovered. The notorious Hacienda Nápoles, inside the home of Pablo Escobar. Now this is the one name I am sure everyone has heard. Pablo Escobar, known as El Patron, was one of the most infamous and wealthiest drug lords in history. At the height of his power, he controlled the Medellin cartel, responsible for smuggling vast quantities of cocaine into the United States and other countries. His wealth and influence were unmatched, and his luxurious lifestyle was visible in his predominant grand estate, Hacienda Nápoles. Located in Puerto Triunfo, Colombia, Hacienda Nápoles was more than just a home. It was a symbol of Escobar's power, extravagance, and complex personality. Hacienda Nápoles was situated about 150 kilometers east of Medellin, sprawled across an area of approximately 7,000 acres. The entrance to the estate was marked by a grand archway with the name Hacienda Nápoles prominently displayed. Above the arch was a replica of the small plane that Escobar used to make his first successful cocaine smuggling trip to the United States, a bold symbol of his rise to power. The estate was heavily guarded, with security personnel patrolling the grounds 24/7. The vast property was surrounded by high fences and surveillance systems to deter intruders and ensure privacy. The main house at Hacienda Nápoles was a luxurious mansion designed in a Spanish colonial style. The sprawling structure featured multiple wings, each adorned with red-tiled roofs and large windows that offered stunning views of the surrounding landscape. Escobar had a penchant for collecting rare and expensive items, and the living room showcased a variety of artifacts and curiosities from around the world. The mansion had several bedrooms, each decorated with luxurious furnishings and amenities. Escobar's master suite was the epitome of luxury, featuring a king-size bed with silk sheets and a custom-made headboard. The room had a private balcony overlooking the estate, offering a peaceful retreat from his tumultuous life. The ensuite bathroom was equipped with a jacuzzi tub, a separate shower, and a vanity with gold-plated fixtures. Escobar's love for entertainment was evident in the numerous leisure facilities within the mansion. There was a private movie theater with plush seating and a state-of-the-art sound system, a billiards room with a vintage pool table, and a well-stocked bar. Escobar also had a personal gym equipped with the latest exercise equipment. But one of the most interesting features of Hacienda Nápoles was its private zoo. Escobar had a fascination with exotic animals and spared no expense in acquiring a wide variety of species. The zoo housed animals from around the world, including elephants, giraffes, zebras, ostriches, and antelopes. There were also several large cats, such as lions, tigers, and pumas, roaming the grounds. The zoo was meticulously maintained, with large enclosures designed to mimic the animals' natural habitats. Escobar employed a team of veterinarians and caretakers to ensure the well-being of his exotic pets. Hacienda Nápoles was not just a residence, but a playground for Escobar and his family. The estate featured several recreational facilities, including swimming pools. There were multiple swimming pools on the property, each designed with unique features. The main pool was massive, complete with a waterfall and a swim-up bar. There were also smaller, more private pools scattered throughout the estate. There was a helipad and a racetrack, as he had a passion for cars and built a private racetrack on the estate. He owned an extensive collection of luxury and vintage cars, which he frequently raced on his custom-built track. And reflecting his interest in traditional Colombian culture, Escobar constructed a bull ring on the property. It was used for private bullfighting events. Oh, and did we mention he even had a private brothel? Basically, the man had everything he could ever wanted. It doesn't stop here. Now, coming towards the secret facilities and hideaways, the estate was equipped with several hidden rooms and underground tunnels designed for escape in case of a raid or attack. These secret facilities were equipped with supplies and communication devices, allowing Escobar to remain hidden and continue his operations even during times of crisis. One of the most famous secret facilities was a massive underground bunker reinforced with concrete and steel. This bunker served as a safe haven and command center where Escobar could coordinate his cartel's activities while remaining protected from law enforcement and rival gangs. But as we know, Pablo Escobar's reign of terror eventually came to an end in 1993 when he was killed by the Colombian National Police. After his death, his family entered a legal struggle with the Colombian government over the property. The government prevailed and the neglected property is now managed by the municipality of Puerto Triunfo, but a lot of it went to ruins. His private car collection was burnt. The burnt collection and the abandoned ruins of his house are still publicly accessible, but are reported to have collapsed in February 2015. The cost of maintenance for the zoo and the animals was too expensive for the government, so it was decided that most of the animals would be donated to various South American zoos. In 2014, a Jurassic Park-style African theme park was opened on the grounds, which have been rented by a private company, Parque Temático Hacienda Nápoles, which includes a water park, a guided safari attraction, aquariums, and a replica of the caves in Colombia's Cueva de los Guacharos National Park. The infamous safe houses of the Sinaloa cartel leader, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is one of the most notorious drug lords in modern history. As the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, Guzman orchestrated a vast drug trafficking network that extended from Mexico into the United States and beyond. Known for his cunning, ruthlessness, and ability to evade capture, Guzman's safe houses played a crucial role in his operations and escapes. Among these, the most infamous was the house in Culiacan, Sinaloa, which featured a hidden escape tunnel. Guzman's safe house in Culiacan was located in a modest neighborhood, blending in with the surrounding residential homes. The unassuming exterior was part of the strategy to avoid attracting attention. Unlike the grand mansions of other drug lords, this safe house was designed for functionality and secrecy. The house was surrounded by a high wall and had a reinforced gate. Security cameras were discreetly positioned around the property to monitor any activity. The goal was to create a fortress that appeared ordinary from the outside but was nearly impenetrable and equipped for rapid escape from within. The property had a very sophisticated surveillance system, including cameras and motion sensors, and the house was also stocked with an arsenal of weapons, including assault rifles, handguns, and grenades. Despite its modest appearance, the interior of Guzman's safe house was well furnished and designed to provide comfort and operational efficiency. The house had several bedrooms, each equipped with basic amenities. Guzman's bedroom was modest, with a simple bed, a wardrobe, and a nightstand. The bed had a hidden compartment underneath, designed to store weapons and cash. The room was sparsely decorated, emphasizing practicality over luxury, and the kitchen was stocked with non-perishable food items, ensuring that Guzman and his associates could remain hidden for extended periods without needing to leave the house for supplies. Just picture your next-door humble neighbor's house. Now this is where it gets interesting. The bathrooms, while rather simple and standard from the outside, had much more to give. One bathroom in particular was notable for its role in Guzman's escape. The most infamous feature of Guzman's Culiacan safe house was its elaborate escape tunnel. The entrance to the tunnel was concealed beneath a bathtub in one of the bathrooms. The bathtub could be lifted using a hydraulic system, revealing a hidden hatch. The tunnel was expertly constructed, measuring about 1.5 meters in height and width. It was reinforced with wooden beams and equipped with lighting and ventilation systems. The tunnel extended for about a mile, connecting the safe house to a storm drain and ultimately to the city's sewer system. This allowed Guzman to escape quickly and discreetly whenever law enforcement closed in. The tunnel required significant planning, engineering expertise, and manpower to construct. The use of tunnels became a signature escape method for Guzman, who famously utilized similar tunnels in various other hideouts and even for smuggling drugs across the US-Mexico border. Despite the extensive security measures, Guzman's luck eventually ran out. On February 22, 2014, Mexican Marines, in coordination with US agencies, raided the safe house in Culiacan. Guzman attempted to escape through the tunnel but was ultimately captured after fleeing through the sewer system. His arrest marked the end of an era for the Sinaloa cartel, but it was not the end of Guzman's story. In July 2015, he escaped from a maximum security prison in Mexico through another tunnel.
Sources have said from prison that Chapo Guzman had paid almost $2 million to effectuate that escape,
reinforcing his reputation as an escape artist. However, he was recaptured in January 2016 and extradited to the United States, where he was sentenced to life in prison. The Opium King's jungle compound, Kun Sa. Kun Sa, born Chang Chifu, was one of the most powerful and notorious drug lords in history. Known as the Opium King, he controlled a significant portion of the heroin production and trafficking in Southeast Asia's Golden Triangle, an area encompassing parts of Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar, Burma. His fortified jungle compound in Burma served as both his headquarters and a symbol of his immense power and influence. Kunsar's compound was strategically located in the remote jungles of Burma, providing both a natural barrier against intruders and a secluded sanctuary for his operations. The compound was situated near the town of Ban Hin Tak, nestled in the thick, verdant landscape that made it difficult for outsiders to penetrate. The exterior of the compound was heavily fortified. High walls topped with barbed wire surrounded the entire property, and guard towers were placed at strategic points to provide a clear view of the surrounding area. Armed guards patrolled the perimeter 24/7, ensuring the compound remained secure from both law enforcement and rival factions. The main building within the compound was a large, imposing structure that served as Kunsar's residence and command center. The heart of Kunsar's operations was the command and control center within the main building. This area was equipped with advanced communication equipment, allowing Kunsar to coordinate his extensive drug trafficking network. Inside Kunsar's own Spartan quarters, mementos of the late militia leader's life have been hung on display as relics. In his bedroom, alongside his military uniform and a number of traditional Shan costumes, are his walking stick and sword, while in the living room next door is another imposing sculpture of the man himself, seated with legs crossed at the table where he received distinguished guests. The communication room was filled with radios, telephones, and computers. Kunsar used these tools to stay in constant contact with his operatives and to monitor the movement of his shipments. The room was staffed by trusted aides who managed the flow of information and ensured that Kunsar's orders were executed efficiently. Adjacent to the communication room was the map room, which contained large maps of the Golden Triangle region and beyond. The maps were marked with routes, safe houses, and key locations related to Kunsar's operations. This room was used for planning and strategizing, helping Kunsar maintain control over his vast empire. In between the drug trafficking, Kunsar also had a passion for gardening, and the compound boasted beautifully manicured gardens. The gardens featured a variety of exotic plants and flowers, providing a tranquil environment. Pathways meandered through the gardens, allowing for leisurely strolls. Given the constant threat from law enforcement and rival factions, security was of utmost importance in Kunsar's compound. The compound was guarded by a private army of loyal soldiers. These guards were well trained and heavily armed, ready to defend the compound at a moment's notice. They patrolled the grounds and manned the guard towers, ensuring that no unauthorized individuals could enter the property. It's also said Kunsar's compound had several hidden escape routes. These included underground tunnels and secret paths through the jungle, providing multiple options for a quick getaway in case of an attack or raid. The tunnels were well concealed and equipped with supplies, ensuring that Kunsar could evade capture and survive in hiding if necessary. Kunsar's reign as the Opium King came to an end in the mid-1990s. Facing increasing pressure from the Burmese government and international forces, he eventually surrendered to Burmese authorities in 1996. He was allowed to retire peacefully in Yangon, Rangoon, where he lived until his death in 2007. Before his surrender to the Burmese government in 1996 to escape extradition to the US on drugs charges, it's also said Kunsar's camp was home to thousands of soldiers of the Mong Thai army. Underground prison cells, each little more than a hole in the ground, held 3 prisoners in each bunker, usually soldiers who had violated the warlord's rules. Those soldiers responsible for graver crimes, such as using drugs, committing rape, or selling their arms to enemy forces, were summarily executed. His place is now home to a museum celebrating the life of its commander, once a towering figure in the global heroin trade who was as admired by his community as he was hated by Western governments. The island fortress of Norman's Cay, the home of Carlos Lehder. Carlos Lehder, a co-founder of the Medellin cartel, was an extremely important figure in the international cocaine trade during the late 1970s and early 1980s. His very clever use of Norman's Cay, a small island in the Bahamas, as a major drug trafficking hub exemplified his bold and extravagant approach. Lehder transformed this tropical paradise into a fortress, blending luxury with high security to control his drug empire. Norman's Cay is a small island located about 210 miles southeast of Miami, Florida, and part of the Exuma Island chain in the Bahamas. Its remote location and proximity to the United States made it an ideal transshipment point for cocaine. The island's natural beauty, with its pristine beaches and turquoise waters, contrasted starkly with its role in the global drug trade. In 1978, Lerda began using the Bahamian island of Norman's Cay as a transshipment point, from which planes full of cocaine would fly to abandoned airstrips in Florida, Georgia, and North and South Carolina. He bribed government officials and either bought out or frightened away the residents of the island, making it his own headquarters. What happened was that when Lerda first arrived there, he started buying up large pieces of property, including a home for himself, a hotel, and an airstrip. With his arrival, the locals noticed a marked increase in airplane traffic on the island's tiny airstrip, as well as armed guards patrolling the beaches. In July 1980, a yacht belonging to a retired Fort Myers couple was found drifting with a corpse and bloodstains on board near Norman's Cay. Eventually, in true Kingpin spirit, Lerda harassed the island's residents and visitors until they fled, while Bahamian Prime Minister Lyndon Pindling, who investigators believe had accepted Lerda's bribes, did nothing to stop him. He in effect took over the entire island. Lerda's scheme was to revolutionize the cocaine trade by transporting the drug to the US using small aircraft. Previously, drug dealers had to rely on human mules to smuggle the drugs in suitcases on regular commercial flights. Under Lerda's scheme, much greater quantities could be transported with far less risk of interception. Norman's Cay became the stopover and refueling hub for these planes, carrying cocaine for Lerda and other members of the Medellin cartel from Colombia to the US. Lerda's property on Norman's Cay spanned a significant portion of the island. The perimeter was fortified with fences and patrolled by armed guards, creating a secure enclave. The main entrance featured a guarded gate, and surveillance cameras were installed to monitor all activities on and around the island. The house was the epitome of luxury, looking right out of a vacation book. The villa's living room was spacious and elegantly furnished. Plush sofas, ornate coffee tables, and expensive artwork adorned the room. Large windows offered stunning views of the ocean, and the decor reflected Lerda's taste for opulence, with a mix of tropical and contemporary styles. The property included a private stretch of beach with various water activities like jet skiing, snorkeling, and sailing. He of course even had a yacht. One of the most critical features of Lerda's Norman's Cay property was the private airstrip. This airstrip was crucial for the import and export of cocaine, allowing small planes to land and take off with relative ease. Lerda eventually constructed a 3,300-foot, 1,000 meters long runway for his fleet of smuggling aircraft. To protect the island, he planted armed guards and attack dogs all along the beaches and runway, as well as radar to identify and fend off any pilot foolish enough to try and land there. The island was a strategic point for Colombian drug flights to refuel and rest before proceeding to the United States. Security around the airstrip was tight. Armed guards patrolled the area, and lookout posts were established to monitor any incoming or outgoing traffic. Radar and communication equipment were installed to track flights and maintain contact with pilots. Given the nature of his business, Lerda's security measures on Norman's Cay were extremely extensive and sophisticated. And Lerda, known for his paranoia and strategic thinking, had multiple escape routes planned. The villa had several hidden exits leading to concealed pathways that could quickly take him to a boat or plane in case of an emergency. Lerda's island retreat wasn't just about business, it was also a playground for relaxation and entertainment. As a drug hub, the island, not surprisingly, became a location for some serious partying. With Lerda allegedly pulling in over $300 million a year off the operation, partying would make sense. Norman's Cay was described as a playground. I have a vivid picture of being picked up in a Land Rover with the top down and naked women driving to come and welcome me from my airplane, one of Lerda's men was quoted saying. Another said, and there we partied, and it was drugs, sex, no police. You made the rules, and it was fun. Lerda's control over Norman's Cay and his role in the Medellin cartel eventually drew the attention of international law enforcement. In 1982, Bahamian authorities, under pressure from the US government, began cracking down on the island's drug operations. Lerda's presence on the island became increasingly untenable, and he was forced to abandon Norman's Cay. In 1987, Lerda was captured in Colombia and extradited to the United States, where he was convicted on multiple charges, including drug trafficking and racketeering, and sentenced to life in prison, plus an additional 135 years. His cooperation with authorities later led to a reduced sentence, and he was released in 2020. Today, Norman's Cay is a far cry from its days as a drug trafficking hub. The island has been redeveloped and transformed into a luxury resort destination, shedding its dark past. The story of Carlos Lecter and Norman's Cay remains a fascinating chapter in the history of the drug trade, illustrating the audacity and extravagance of one of the most notorious figures in the narcotics world. Leader's Island Fortress stands as a symbol of the intersection between luxury and criminality, a place where illicit activities thrived under the guise of tropical paradise. It serves as a reminder of the lengths to which drug lords will go to protect their empires and the eventual downfall that often follows such a life of excess and crime.